All right, we are live now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, Freedom Movement family. It's my pleasure to introduce, if you don't know, Yvonne Coelho and James Davidson, amazing freedom warriors in Vancouver area. My name is Vlad. If some of you don't know, I'm streaming this also actually to YouTube and Twitter. The only Hugs of a Mask social platform still kind of functioning is Twitter, even though I didn't use it. But anyway, it's all good. So we come in here today to be with all of you beautiful people. Give us some comments if you can. I want to make sure you can hear me. The connection might be a little bit not 100%. Let me know if you can hear me. Make some comments, please. Let's see for comments coming up. If you guys can hear us well. Hello, Vlad from Toronto. Steve, let us know how's the connection, please and thank you. Let me just make sure I have all the other devices off. I don't want to use this internet otherwise. Okay, guys, please comment that you can hear us well. Hi, Rose. Hi, Kathy. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So, we are here today to discuss Freedom Rally that took place all across our beautiful country and actually around the world yesterday, the 20th. And it's International Freedom Movement Day, the 20th. Australia had hundreds of thousands of people all around different cities. United States had it, obviously Europe. I think Croatia had like just millions of people. Was beautiful to see. There's tons of people in Italy. There's a lot of people in Austria. If you don't know, Austria going full force. Initially, they said they're going to be mandatory lockdowns for only unvaccinated, and all the vaccinated people became very. There's actually a new term that I learned. It's called vaccine supremacy, and that's a real problem comparing to the white supremacy right now. If there would be one supremacy that people are really utilizing right now all across is a vaccine supremacy, meaning because they're vaccinated, now they are better humans than other that choose not to be, right? But in Austria, my understanding, they have a lot of people standing shoulder to shoulder, definitely not 6 feet apart, jabbed and jabbed, and just standing for freedom of choice above all, right? And that's what unites us all. That's really what brings us all together. Different walks of lives, different ethnic backgrounds, different cultural, different professional, religious. It doesn't really matter, because what unites us all is freedom, and making sure that we have future for our children in this country, and understanding that freedom is not free. Our grandparents paid the price for it, and it's our turn now to do it. So I want to pass it on to Yvonne to introduce herself a little bit, and then James, and then we'll have a discussion about what exactly took place in Vancouver, where we all participated in the rally yesterday, and we'll just go from there. So Yvonne, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Yvonne. I'm in the Vancouver area, and I've been for freedom for quite a while now. And I'm happy to support and promote many different groups. My feeling is that if you're taking any sort of action at all, I appreciate you, because all action matters. And I've supported, as I said, I've supported many groups, and I'm happy to do so, and many initiatives. I've been working with Vlad for a while now, and one of the reasons that that I really appreciated Hugs Over Mask was that it's an education and an information platform, and it continues to be. And I think that informing people of what's happening and inspiring people to take action really matters, especially right now. And so I I love everybody. I love the kids, fighting for the kids especially, and fighting for people that don't have the courage to stand at this point yet, and just keeping the faith. I know that we win this. I know we win this one because God and truth always prevail. So we just got to catch up in real time, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Yvonne. I just want to really thank for your hard work, dedication to freedom. You've been one of the most dedicated, real activists, boots on the ground, as we always say, in Vancouver area specifically. Since we met in Kitsilano on August 15th, right, or 16th, the first Saturday, I hosted Festival of Life in British Columbia. It was a beautiful sunny day at the beautiful beach in Kitsilano, and you've been such a powerhouse woman, and just unapologetically in integrity and authenticity, and leading in action. I really love this saying, leadership in action, and that you epitomize that like to the bone. So thank you.
Thank you.
James, introduce yourself a little bit, share some of the things initially, and then obviously please promote your current thing that you're building up.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to involve me in this live here. So yeah, I've pretty much caught on to that, this unfortunate situation that the government has put us in since March of 2020 wasn't going to benefit us as a society. So I decided to become active for the first time in my life, in our freedoms and our rights, and just started to learn more and more, going down the rabbit hole, to be honest. At that point in time, I'm not stupid, and I know that everything isn't exactly the way it looks on paper with the government, but at the end of the day, we've left the wrong people in charge for too long. And, I wanted to start making a difference, at least starting the conversation with strangers and things like that. So I started going to marches in March of 2020 with End the Lockdowns. And it was Susan Stanfield's group that she had put together, Laura Lynn, and, obviously Alicia Johnson was a part of that. I'm not sure how involved she was, but she was there for that. And we started growing a group and, going on these marches and just, having speeches and realizing where we stand. So, I became active and very passionate about our freedoms and our rights. I'm thinking of my children, my grandchildren and my daughter, their future. Very blessed to grow up in Canada here with all the freedoms and rights that we've had to grow up with. And I can tell you right now, I got involved because you can't take one problem and create a mountain of problems when you've got a molehill. And that's what's happening with COVID. And it's basically, to me, it seemed like a Trojan horse to get us to where we are today with the jab or whatever you want to call it. Mandates and, where we're headed with social credit scores. And even worse than that, concentration camps, who knows how far this is going to go. I mean, they pushed pretty far on us. So, of course, I'm getting more involved. And I did actually when Justin Trudeau decided on the 23rd that he was going to stand up and tell us all that there's going to be consequences for us, specifically who decide to take the high road and not take the jab. So that really lit the fire up in me, because I kind of knew it was coming, but I didn't think all this was going to happen as quickly as it did. So from that point on, I kind of created a group just before that called Stand United. And I did that so I could bring more people together to get them out being active and showing our government that there's a lot of people that disagree with segregation, discrimination, and everybody is essential. We all have to work. We all have to create an income in order to support our families. So that's why I'm involved, and I believe that we're stronger when we're united. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and you kind of just realize that, there is a growing period. I've had a metamorphosis in my life since all this started. Look at me today. I would have never saw myself doing any of this 2 years ago. So here we are. And, obviously the respect that I have for the people before me who have walked the walk, talked the talk, and, been in the trenches is immense, because that's who I've been inspired by and I've learned from you all. And, now I'm contributing in ways that I feel like I can. So James Davison and my group is Stand United. And hopefully I can bring people together and we can work as a team and come up with solutions to get in front of the government because they work for us, even though they're not right now. We need to get that in line again. We, as a community, as a society, as a country, we need to get our government in a line again. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Yeah, so I guess the main reason why we wanted to jump on this today is to, like I said, discuss what happened specifically at the rally yesterday here in Vancouver, and then also discuss a broader things that we all been managing on doing our best to navigate for the last, myself, I've been in this movement since May 2nd, 2020, my first protest, and probably within 2 months, even sooner, I realized that I definitely will have to navigate the waters of the freedom movement very carefully, because it was not only about regaining freedom in this country. A lot of times it's the amount of politics and ensuring that people's egos don't get stroked the wrong way and you don't offend people for some reason. It's honestly like a full-time job on top of it being activist to navigate that, and it's kind of sad because you would expect people in freedom movement having a bigger picture, having a bigger mindset, that all those personal things and personalities should be left completely out, because when life is at stake, and it is, there's nothing should be discussed except the life itself and the freedoms that been for the last year and a half vanishing in our country. And I often say I came to Canada as an international student when I was 19 years old. And I came to this country because I knew we have freedoms and there's opportunity. And that's why I immigrated to here as an international student. And so many people before me and after came to Canada for the same exact reasons. And now we have droves of people fleeing this country, and they are professionals, young people in prime of their life, successful business owners, etc. And they're going to Mexico, to Nicaragua, to Costa Rica, to Florida, to other places in the States that definitely have freedom and they're standing the ground. And a lot of people actually moving back to ex-Soviet bloc countries and other Eastern countries, Eastern European countries, etc. And it's unreal that the freedoms exist more there than in Canada, which is supposed to be the bastion of freedom. So what I'm getting to is there is definitely what I call elite freedom club, and it's just my personal thing. Nobody has to take it. That's just what I call it. And the reason why I call elite freedom club is because the actions that people take within this freedom club, elite freedom club, are exactly the same. The actions that are taken by the government, the media, and the elites that we are opposing, and they're using slandering. They use sabotage. They use censorship, and they use segregation in their techniques to combat the resistance, sort of called, right? And without going too much into the whole discussion for the time aspect of it, and probably I'll jump later at some point myself to discuss further, but there's one specific individual that's been very challenging to navigate with, because for some reason he got very threatened, and his name is David Lindsay, and he's in Kelowna. He's a long-term activist in Kelowna, very well known in Okanagan Valley especially, and maybe in throughout BC. And full disclosure, when Hugs of a Mask was expanding last year, I was openly talking that my vision is to have 100 chapters of Hugs of a Mask's Festivals of Life all across the country. And we started doing Festivals of Life in Toronto, and then we expanded throughout Ontario, and then obviously it came to BC, and we had Kitsilano branch in Vancouver, so to speak. We were expanding into Surrey, and Terry, phenomenal lady Terry, who I'm so grateful for. She was actually originally from Ontario, but she was living in Kelowna area, and she volunteered to be the captain of our Hugs of a Mask chapter there. And told her from day one, who is the local leader there for the resistance. Make sure we can collaborate with them and we can build something together. And I can back that up because as late as October of last year, I was still making flyers for Vancouver Rally, and I actually was including all the organizations that I thought about it, including David Lindsay organization called Clear. So I had no issues whatsoever with anything. And again, if people actually look back on the flyers that I was making all throughout the summer 2020, I would always put organizational logos at the flyer because I wanted people to be welcome. If Hugs of a Mask hosting a festival of light, I purposely always included other organizations' logos, especially the local ones, because I wanted to ensure that it does not matter which organization or movement you belong to. We are all part of the freedom movement. And to me, it never mattered the affiliations that you choose to have. And I would never tell people to be exclusive with Hugs of a Mask, We Are Essential. I would always say that, if you are volunteering for our organizations, great. If you would like to help us, fantastic. And if you're helping us already, and if you want to help other people, by all means, it's not my place. I'm not the boss of anyone. I do my best to empower people and inspire them to take the action. So that's basically what's been happening. Unfortunately, David Lindsay from Kelowna has been spreading lies about me personally, about Terry, saying that she was a government agent because she worked at the end of her professional career. She worked for CRA, so she must be a government agent. And because I studied political science, I must be able to lie very well and all this stuff, right? And that's why I'm so successful building, expanding the movement. So it all came from personal insecurities, unfortunately, right? So myself and Terry tirelessly tried and attempted to work with David Lindsay all throughout the fall of last year. Now, why I'm discussing this specifically, for a very important reason. Because David had a personal vendetta against me. Apparently, I had no idea why. There's a few other people involved, but one of the main people that got involved with David Lindsay was the Russia gate all over. I know, right? So Scott is making a comment. It's funny. Danielle Pestilli, created a good relationship with David Lindsay, and by all means, that's totally fine. And I spoke with Danielle as recent as, I think it was December of last year, or maybe January. I spent an hour on the phone with her, and I had a conversation, and I really wanted to address whatever concerns she might have about who I am, how I am able to travel across the country still, then some people were not able to, and all this stuff. And I really did my best. And I told her straightforward, if you have anything you want to ask me, ask me. Don't say it's none of your business, because we were building Vancouver Freedom Movement together, because Freedom Rally World was an organization to bring all the Vancouver and around Vancouver organizations together. And it was a union of Hugs of a Masks with No New Normal, and Odessa jumped on as well. And then Danielle later brought Alicia. Alicia wasn't even part of the Freedom Rally World from the beginning. Alicia joined later. So when she says that she was one of the founding members of Freedom Rally World, it's a lie. It's a lie. She was not. It was Marcella that wanted to continue bringing people together after October of the last year mega rally that we had, because there was a few issues there.
You're right, because I was there. I was at the meeting.
Yeah.
And you were on your.
I was on a Zoom because I was in Toronto at the time. Yeah.
And I can verify that. I mean, Ryan from Celebration of Freedoms and Rights, I met him at Guildford. Yeah. And I actually inspired him to start doing the big rallies in Vancouver, set him up with Laura Lynn.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had the best intentions, but it takes management, Sorry.
I know. So no, and I appreciate you, and that's why I wanted to bring you in, James, because you've been from the beginning in this movement. I came from Toronto in August. Yvonne joined. I think the first rally was probably September, the mega rally that you went to. But James, you have a great perspective because you've been in this movement specifically locally here since the beginning. So, and obviously whatever else you're doing right now is important too. But you have a good perspective to offer to us. So in October of the last year, when we did an attempt to kind of smooth some things out that was going on, lots of drama, completely unnecessary again. Like I said from the beginning, it would be extremely amazing if people would act professional and leave all the personal dramas out, and but we all humans and things happen, right? So long story short, in October there was after, I guess, end of October, there was a meeting in a restaurant. Daniela came in. I was on the phone because I was in Toronto. James was there, and a few other people were there. James, if you want to share who was there. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. So Marcelo was there, who kind of brought people together, and then I can't remember everybody, but that's how the Freedom Rally World got going. And Rama actually bought the domain, and then kind of said, "This is a cool domain. You guys should use it," and that's it. And Rama is not even involved per se, right? But it was Rama who bought that domain. So that's the backstory of the Freedom Rally World. It was a joint venture. We had, once we kind of created a core group of people, we had like a conversation about the logo and how it should be happening, and everybody participated in that. So it was a joint venture, again, between Raul, Maria Ho, Marcela, myself, Odessa, and Alicia, and Daniela, and Alicia joined later. So those are the core group of people that did the Freedom Rally World umbrella, so to speak, at the end of 2020. Now, a very important...
Just to say one thing here, to kind of back up what you're saying with the drama that was going on. The October rally, that's when I stepped out. I went to that one last meeting, and I could see that Danielle Pistoli, she still wanted to bring Ryan back in. And I just said, you know what? When something's broken that badly, you cannot keep going down that path. You have to make a correction. So that's actually, the drama was so deep that I was so involved in, and I tried to bring people together. I tried so hard to bring people together and just hit one barrier after another. And then I saw where this was going again, was just going to end up on drama's hands. I stopped. I got out. Yeah. And I gave myself a long rest from it. And if it wasn't for people like Vlad and Chris Sky, this movement wouldn't be doing much of anything, period. Because we go to these rallies and support the worldwide rallies. And yes, we come together. Yes, we have ideas. Yes, Tanya is doing her thing and whatever. I'm not telling people they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Anybody who's doing something is production.
100%.
But kumbaya sessions aren't the same as boots on the ground, in the trenches, making a difference on an everyday basis with people's lives, teaching the charters, reminding people that they are free Canadians, the things that Vlad does, Chris Sky, United Non-Compliance. These messages are real. And you know what? That's when this stops. When? Vlad? United what? Non-Compliance.
Yeah.
But the drama that was going on before October, I think it was 13th or something like that. Anyways, I was there. I didn't even go to the rally because I was picking up the pieces of their broken mess.
Yeah, no, it's true. So the reason why I bring that a little bit backstory, because it's actually important in relevant times. The important thing that I also want to mention is by the end of 2020, the people that were leading Vancouver Freedom Movement specifically had clear instructions that we are not allowed to support or have any conversation with Kip Warner, who was fundraising at the time for the class action lawsuit that he wanted to file. And that came directly from Tanya Gaw. And that's really, really, really unprofessional, considering that if we all for freedom and we all have a right to do whatever we think is right, nobody should be trying to sabotage anybody else. And the reason why I bring this up is because as much as I appreciate Tanya Gaw's efforts, and I really do, and I appreciate Danielle's efforts, I appreciate Alicia's efforts, I appreciate Odessa's effort, because there are definitely legitimate positive efforts for the freedom of this country. And I'm never going to take that away from any people doing anything positive. Now, at the same time, we need to address the integrity and when people mess up. And we need to hold everybody accountable and to a high standard, including myself, including Yvonne, including James. Nobody's perfect, right? Guess what? I made a post before this live stream saying that we're going to be doing a live stream, and I tagged Alicia in the comment that I thought she made. And Chelsea actually screenshot, and it was not Alicia, it was Danielle made a comment about how original for me to do now Freedom Fridays at 5:55 that I do the Zooms. But I obviously made a mistake. So guess what? I apologized. I said in the comment, you know what? you're right, Alicia, I was wrong. It was Daniela. I mixed up between two of you who made a comment. How easy is that? How easy is that, just to apologize when you are wrong? It's so simple, and you're just able to move on.
Well, and that's the thing, be accountable for your mistakes, because we all make them. I've been at a rally. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not even going to pretend for 1 second that I am perfect, but I'm going to do a lot of really good things. If I make a mistake, I'll own it.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you can't take constructive criticism from some people that have a different perspective than you, and you're the leadership, and it makes sense, you got to reevaluate your thought process here a little bit and try to figure out where you can compromise yourself.
100%. So with Tanya Ga, we're definitely having challenges, and people need to know, right? And by the way, people really need to understand something very clearly. I would never attack Action for Canada. I would never attack Vaccine Choose Canada. I would never attack Police on Guard as an organization, because it represents thousands of people across this beautiful country. However, if there's a specific issues that needs to be addressed with specific individuals, I will address them, and I'm not going to apologize for it. So Tanya Ga told people since last year, do not work with Kip Warner. In fact, make sure you don't support him. So initially, to keep things smooth, myself and Raul and Rick and Maria was working with Kip Warner at the end of last year without letting Tanya Ga, Danielle, and Alicia know, because we didn't want to rock the boat, but we wanted to make sure that we're able to support whoever we feel is right. Now, it's not the first time Tanya is doing this. Tanya did this in November, or was it end of October, when myself, Marcella, and Yvonne, and I think even Alex came with us. We went to support a church in Langley that was standing a ground against this oppression. And that was the first time I met Carrie Simpson in person. Phenomenal woman, who I know now to be extremely phenomenal at what she does, but back then I didn't even know who she was, Unfortunately, I listened to Tanya Ga that day, because she literally pulled me on the side in a church of all the places. And she said, Vlad, don't work with Carrie Simpson. This is a fact. Nobody going to take that away from me. It happened in a church in Langley. And Tanya Ga has to own up to that. And now she's running around and saying, make sure nobody works with Hugs of a Mask, with Vlad. And especially if you volunteer for Action for Canada, you're not allowed to volunteer for any other organization. Excuse me, this is not a freedom movement. You're running a franchise, you're running a corporation, and you're acting like a boss. And then when people using whatever materials Action for Canada creates with volunteer help, Tanya Ga runs around and saying it's our intellectual property, and you're taking it away from us. You know what happened
plagiarizing.
Yesterday? Beautiful thing happened yesterday. Svetlana from Ezra Wellness came to our booth. She saw the flyers that we were doing about mask exemption and educating people about harmful effect, and she looked at it and how beautiful it is, and she's like, do you mind if I use anything from this card? I said, please use. We have open source. Anything that we create is for the whole country. That's the mindset that all organizations need to have, not to try to hover over your personal responsibilities or personal. It's not your intellectual property. It's volunteers that making this. And then you think you own this. You don't own the freedom movement. You don't.
Well, can I interrupt one more time? Just listen, just because you don't like somebody, Vlad, or you don't like somebody, Yvonne, I'm still going to form my own thought process on every person I meet. And for someone to take you aside and say, hey, look, this has happened to me throughout this movement. And that's what went wrong to begin with when I brought somebody else, Ryan, into this, right? Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean I am going to stop liking that person. Yeah. They're not going away just because of you. And you can try to convince other people not to like somebody, but that's divisive. Okay, that's division. So that's why I commented in such a way that I said, what are we, the masks versus the unmasked? We can't carry on and be successful as little groups. Take an example, Calgary. Their groups are huge.
Massive.
Why? Because people aren't doing this within their own system. And until people can put aside their own grief and realize that your children are more important. I have grandchildren. I have a daughter I love very much. I have my mom and dad. I want them to make their own choices and have freedoms. And it's not just me personally being greedy. I want that for my friends. I want it for our country because that's what we deserve. And I'm just so fed up with
Yeah.
seeing all of this divisive nonsense.
Nonsense. Absolute
Nonsense.
nonsense. It's like petty. It's like a high school drama. It's not even high school. It's like kindergarten drama. It's like we're in a sandbox and we cannot divide the toys. What the hell?
I showed up at the Vancouver Art Gallery with Marcella, and we parked up there, whatever, at the art gallery. And we're starting to set up. Now, we were one of the first people there. And right away, as soon as we popped the hatchback, Marco Pietro, he comes up to me and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm just getting my stuff out." And he's like, "Well, where are you going to set that up?" I said, I stopped what I was doing. I turned around and I confronted him because that's what these people need right now.
100%.
Somebody to confront them. And I said, "What's it to you? What is it to you? This rally is yours or something? Like, Marco, who are you?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to represent Stand United at the Freedom Rally, the World Freedom Rally.
Yeah.
I'm going to be representing We Are Essential. I'm going to be representing you like I do on Stand United. I've got a fairly decent following there. It's just been started 4 or 5 months ago. It's growing. And, I always represent everybody, like you say, because all of us are important, man. Every
100%.
group matters because every group's making a difference in one way or another.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything good happen with them ever, except for at their rally when they're toting how much they've done with their billboards and their truck now and stuff like that. Remember, it's an idea, but we're the ones making the donations. We're the ones paying for it, okay? So it's not all coming out of their pocket. Groovy, you've got a great idea, but you've got a worldwide rally there to support that, and everybody wants to be a part of it because you post it, I post it, she posts it, he posts it. We all contribute.
100%.
We're all trying to get this going. So good on you for having a good idea, Alicia and Danielle, and whoever else is putting this stuff together, Tanya, Laura Lynn, whoever you are. Like, you're still just one of the freedom fighters.
Yes.
And I'm just sick and tired of seeing this behavior when other people have something to offer. It's not like Vlad is not a hanger-on. Okay, the guy's out there in the trenches, in the malls, at the police stations, showing people Charter of Rights, standing up for us, showing it can be done, going through airports, doing things that, people were too afraid to even question in the beginning. And, you just throw him right under the bus like he's nothing. When how many people at that rally would have loved to hear what he has to say, when everybody was there to begin with. And I've seen you speak enough times. You belong on the stage. It's a worldwide rally. If you want your own group that you can dictate and control, then start your own group. But if you want to be the one to manage something for all of us, our province, and for our country, put your bullshit aside.
Yeah. Well said, James. Thank you for that. Yvonne, I'll jump on and maybe talk about that when the split happened with Freedom Rally World, and it happened, I guess, in the springtime of this year. We actually continued promoting everything they were doing. So maybe speak to that a little bit and kind of give a perspective, right?
I'm for promoting, as I said earlier, I'm for promoting, all events, all groups, because I believe we're all together in this, right? I kind of feel like we're all in a workplace together, and we've got a job to get done, and there's going to be differences with people, and some people may not even like another person. It's all okay, but there is a job to get done, so let's get it done. Instead of some of the things that I've come up against that have really been shocking to me, actually. I want to just mention that it was several months back, and might I just begin by saying, I've always been a Rocco Galati fan. I donated myself, and I've seen, many of his videos, and I think, wow, like impressive, and it makes sense what he's saying, and I appreciate that. Now, where it went a little off track here is, there's a lot of people that have conversations, and they were starting to question about the funds in BC. Because initially, Tanya was showing the dollar amount, up to, I think, $60,000 or $70,000. After that, it moved to percentages. So people started questioning, like, why are we not seeing, how much dollar amounts? And a few months ago, I posted a post and I asked questions. I asked, what is happening with a Rocco Galati case in Ontario that was filed, I believe, July 6, 2020. And there's no activity on it. There's no court activity on it. And right now, I believe we're at 15 months, and there's still no court activity on it, as far as I know, and some others know. And if anybody knows anything differently, please inform us. We would like to know what happened with that case. I also questioned the transparency on the funds for the BC case. And I thought they were very valid questions. And people are talking about it. People want to know. We donated. We're donors. We want to know what's going on.
Yeah, you can see a billboard, but where's the total? I mean, why haven't we even seen a single court case yet? And this is why I've said another, sorry to interrupt you, but there's times, where you just have to go, okay, well, if we're counting on Rocco Galati at this point in time, I mean, good luck. I mean, at this point in time, I don't have any confidence in that.
No.
And I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just being frank.
Yeah.
Where are the funds, and how much are the funds? Because I've donated to that.
Yeah.
We all did.
So they're valid questions, James, and a lot of people are asking. And I was shocked with the response. Well, it wasn't a response, it was reactivity from Tanya herself. She came out like gangbusters. In her comment, she said, who would want to work with the likes of Kip Warner? And to this day, I still do not know, and nobody knows except for just a couple people, how much in dollar amounts are in trust for the BC lawsuit. We don't know. So what happened was, and this was shocking to me, because I have respect for Tanya. In fact, I'm on her email list. I've sent her notice of liabilities out to so many people. So, and then what I realized is they just can't be called out on anything. Like, I wasn't saying that she's a bad person. I was just calling this situation out. I was wondering about this Rocco and the funds. Anyway, it snowballed into something that just blew me away. I get a phone call from Odessa saying that they were going to file a lawsuit against me if I didn't take my post down. A post where I proposed some questions. I just questioned. And after that, I was advised to not respond to that. And I didn't want to respond to that call, so I didn't. And the following day, she unleashed a Facebook post. She didn't name me, but it was targeted towards me, in which she verbally assaulted me in a way that I was stunned. I was literally stunned. I couldn't believe it. And I said, for asking questions, it's not making any sense. And that went on so far with Odessa that I was at Corduroy Restaurant one night with some friends, and she very rudely and aggressively interrupted. I was speaking to somebody. She came crashing right in, that I stepped back and I said, oh, Odessa, and I said, hello. And she went like this, I'm not talking to you. And then I went to the front of the restaurant. I was saying goodbye to some people. And I feel a glass of water being poured down my back. And I turn around, it's Odessa with this glass of water, so assaulting me physically. And 3 people were grabbing at her to stop doing this. And there were probably 20 people in the restaurant that witnessed this also. She then later goes on to deny that this even occurred and that Clive and I were crazy for calling this an assault and just literally gaslighting me when there were all these people that were there that night to witness this. So I was just, I don't understand this behavior at all.
Censorship.
For asking,
Censorship is what
for
it is.
asking questions, for asking questions. To this day, my questions have not been answered. What happened to the Ontario lawsuit of July 2020? Nobody knows. There's no court activity on it at all. And
there's
how
one in
much
Quebec.
is in
There's one in
the
Quebec as
trust
well.
for the BC lawsuit?
Yeah.
To this day, I still don't have those answers. But what has happened is their reactivity to how dare I even ask these questions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I was completely out of line. And Odessa also warned somebody that they were not to speak about Rocco in public. So there's something very strange. And it went from asking these questions to now I'm seriously concerned about what's going on. As we all witness that, you know, Rocco is taking many cases on, and that's fine if there's going to be action and so forth. I mean, we would all wish that he would succeed, right? But there's a lot of cases being taken on. There's no transparency of funds collected. I mean, we are allowed to ask these questions. But I got blasted in such a way, verbally assaulted and physically assaulted by Odessa.
Well, it's pretty
Who
sad
then
that
denies that she did that.
it's really sad that you haven't been updated. If you're concerned and they have nothing to hide, then make an update. It's that simple. You know, what is Justin Trudeau hiding?
Oh,
The truth.
it's not there.
He's not talking about the VAR's website, is he? Just telling everybody
So-
to go do it.
So
Censorship.
James, and then it is, and more than that even. And then it came to my attention that there was some activity on the BC case in October. And I think it was, it came out, the document was October 14th. Don't quote me, I think it was October 14th. And I posted it for people to be aware and updated about what's happening. Now, what was interesting is Tanya didn't update anybody on this activity. But what they did do is after my post and the reactions to my post, they then, Odessa hosted a show and Tanya did her thing there, right? But so the lack of transparency, the lack of updates for the people, so it's gone so far that I was told it's none of my business. I'm not a plaintiff. So it was all of our business when you were collecting donations, you know, for a year, but now it's not my business because I have several questions, and it's not just myself. There are many people that have these similar questions. To this day, we don't know what's going on. So, and in fact, Tanya's now saying to people at her events where she speaks something to the effect of, you don't need to be in court, you know, to be making a difference. And I'm thinking, well, you collected hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're not transparent about, and now you're saying that it's not necessary to be in court to be making a difference. Wow.
Yeah.
So that has been concerning, you know, to me and a lot of people. And
I just want to be
the
clear.
amount of defense,
A lot of people,
you
not just
know,
you or me.
a lot of people,
A lot of people
you know,
I know actually personally too, Yvonne, have brought this up in conversation. And I'll tell you what, like I said too, at the end of the day, is why are we going to keep donating money when we don't know how much is there? I mean, is it in cryptocurrency or something? Like, what's the big secret? Um, at the end of the day, there should never be any secrets in our freedom movement. And if somebody has a question, it should be answered, especially, when it comes to dollars and cents that's being donated from all of us to combat what we're going through here with our government. And we've hired Rocco Galati, and we've seen nothing in the past year and a half come from it. So it's a legitimate question.
Rocco filed a few cases, and there's no action. There's virtually no action on them. And please, if anybody knows something different, we literally are just asking because we're interested and probably now concerned that something is amiss. I don't know, but the fact that our questions have been thwarted, so to speak, completely just shoved under the carpet quickly.
It's like a stone wall. Those people. I said it in my message. I'll tell you what. In 2 years of doing this, even with the Ryan Kabala thing, I never went public with a message until last night because I watched the live. I couldn't hear what was going on. I was so far back, so I couldn't hear the stage, and I really couldn't even hear Vlad very much. I just went up and afterwards told Vlad I love him, but I really couldn't hear what was going on. But you get stonewalled, okay? When you ask something to Alicia or Danielle,
they don't answer.
No.
They do not answer.
Again, it's not like we're personally out there trying to knock them off their pedestal. Everybody here respects everybody's efforts. There's no question there. But a legitimate question like what you're asking, I've been asked that. Like, people have asked me, hey, do you know what's going on with the case in Rocco Galati? And I don't know, talk to Vlad or talk to someone who knows more than I do or whatever. But no, I haven't heard anything. And, I have no idea what the total amount of money is, if it's been invested in something that's going to go up so it helps us or whatever.
We don't know.
Information. None of us know.
We don't know.
So it's a lot of money, like you say, and it's a legitimate question. But being stonewalled is the same as censorship, okay? Because I'm like, again, you have to have the right demeanor for the position you're in, no matter what. That's why some people make great bosses and some people make lousy bosses. Now, you kind of have a responsibility for all of us. You're responsible for all of us to bring us all together if you're going to take on an organization like this. And then you put heads together that are very smart, like Tanya Gaw. She realized that she could tap into our wallets and bring out a lot of money from us because we're concerned about our children's futures. We're concerned about our own futures and where things are headed. Obviously, some people are awake and some people aren't. So we're awake and we tapped into our own funds. So, okay, again, and billboards and things like that. So I'm going to say that I got a buddy that does a lot of overpass rallies. And, people are either with you or they're not. And there's a lot of people who think we're the worst people in the world for even going against, Bonnie Henry or Theresa Tam. They know everything, follow the science. The science is proven, all this other crap. But really doing something yourself, talking to somebody, changing a perspective, that's what really gets people to think, right? I do it as much as I can. I try to bring people to a point where they start thinking for themselves about the consequences of the actions we've been taking due to one problem, the Trojan horse. Now we've got financial issues, school issues with kids. I mean, they want to do this to 5-year-olds now, and you'd have a better chance to be struck by lightning than that happening. So yeah, they dwelled into our hearts, okay? And they dwelled into our wallets. And now you wanna know, what's the problem with wanting to know? So I'll defend you to the end of the earth on that, Yvonne. But at the end of the day, if they are hiding something, they'll never give you an answer.
Yeah. So it's starting to feel like that. It's starting to feel like that, that something is amiss and they're actually they're hiding something. So
give,
it really took. All it took,
So
James, all it would take would be to just say, to basically just say, here's the books and this is what it is. That's it. It's over. You know, instead, being blasted, so many people have been slandered because of this. It's not right. Slandered, censored, you know, and then it carried on to Vlad. You can carry on there.
yeah. No, Danielle is actually watching this and she's commenting, so I just want to address her comments. So she's saying that, Yvonne, you never ask directly, politely, Tanya about this information. Same thing as James, apparently. Danielle is saying, why don't you ask Tanya privately, politely, directly? Why do we have to do this? Danielle, why do we have to privately, politely ask Tanya how much money the whole country has been raising for this lawsuit? They should be
Like she would
transparent.
tell us privately?
Whether she tells it or not, the fact that we have to ask, excuse me, this is open information available. Guess what Keep Warner has? Keep Warner has an open GoFundMe page set up. The whole country knows every single dollar that's been raised. There was no cash being collected because there's going to be transparency and accountability.
Absolutely.
Okay. And as we know, there was apparently, as Yvonne said, initially there was a tracking information in terms of the dollar amount, and then it got switched to percentage. And the reason why it got switched is because Rocco Galati requested it himself. And that's not cool.
Yeah, and I will say to you,
So
Danielle, I never have asked you specifically because I don't feel like it's my responsibility. Why aren't we? You're at a worldwide rally with Tanya, and Tanya never thought to say, hey, this is how much we've raised and this is when we should be in court. I mean, she's talking about us all contributing all the time, that there's the plan. Okay, well, 2 years later almost here, and you know, the result is still the same. So, okay, whatever's happening behind the scenes should be public knowledge, considering within our groups, you know, we are the ones who are funding it. So that's my.
Danielle is asking me for my transparency. She says I have 6 or 7 different organizations. All of them have donate buttons on, which is incorrect, Danielle. I have 2 live websites, I think 3 maximum. And yes, they have a donate button on them, but I'm not stalking on stage every single time asking for donation. So please, like, check your stories. How do you pay for 2 homes in Toronto, Vancouver, and not work? I don't have 2 homes in Toronto and Vancouver, Danielle. This is part of the slandering information that you, Tyler Nicholson, Marco, and David Lindsay, and a few other people have been spreading around the lies.
It's rented information.
And by the way, it's private information, none of your business, but I'll say it anyway. I rented a 2-bedroom apartment in Toronto before the prices went up. I was paying maximum $1,500 for it before COVID. And then when COVID happened, I negotiated with my landlord to pay only $800 for it. And then I had to be evicted because I couldn't even keep up with that. So that's a full disclosure for you, Danielle, and everyone else needs to know. And guess what? In Vancouver, I rent 1-bedroom apartment. I don't even have 2 bedrooms, considering I have a newborn and have to come to Samantha Place to do this live stream because then let's see your books, Vlad. Why do you need to see my books, Daniela? Do I collect millions of dollars across the country? Rocco Galati does. $2 million in Quebec. Who knows, God knows how much money in Ontario. How much money right now in BC? So please, Danielle, with all due respect.
Vlad, can I say something here, interject? So James, this is the classic defense. So it's always deflection. So what they do is they take it off of themselves and they put it on, like, immediately attack Vlad, right? So still, it's deflection. It's an egoic defense. You know, it's called deflection, and they're brilliant at it. And they do this so that they continuously don't answer the questions that we've asked. We have a BC lawsuit. We're allowed to know what the funds are in dollar amounts. We, to this day, do not know, and we're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars. Could it be 400,000? Possibly. Could it be 800,000? Possibly. But we don't know how much that is, right? So then what they do is they deflect. Oh, what does Vlad make? Oh, how's that? Well, Danielle, how are you doing? Can you show us your books, your bank account? Let's see your bank account. Let's see Odessa's bank account. I'd like to see Odessa's bank account. And, so this is what I mean. So you can never get anyone. They don't answer the questions, and very valid questions that everybody would be interested to know.
Well, for
This is a
example,
public interest case. It's a BC lawsuit. It's a public interest case, just like the other lawsuits. And again, like Vlad said, we have Kip Warner and his team, right? And you go to his website and you click on the funds, you see every dollar, $5, $10 that's given. You see every single status update. He's been in court already 3 or 4 times. I think we have the next hearing in January. Then, with Bonnie Henry in June. It's all there for everybody to see. There is none of it with the BC lawsuit that received and collected hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not dealing with a few pennies here.
no,
There is a lack of transparency. There's a lack of
You're right.
integrity, a lack of
You're right.
honesty here.
there's a firewall, okay, just like on your computer, so people can't hack. All right, but listen, today, for example, I woke up this morning after I watched the live, and I saw just how petty the behavior was. Myself, I have Vlad to my rallies here with Stand United, and obviously I appreciate him coming because he's amazing. And on stage, he's a presence, and people want to hear what he has to say. So I don't know what the deal is there, but there's a firewall. Okay, so because the first time it's not the first time I ever thought of making a comment. Okay, I've thought about making these comments many, many times, but I try not to be what I consider to be the popcorn gallery because it's counterproductive. It's not going to help when you argue back and forth. It's a waste of time. But this has gone on for too long now, and yes, you gotta.
James, there's no ownership. Sorry, there's no ownership. So that's why you get the popcorn. Because honestly, if people just said, okay, this is what.
I got
Right?
totally trapped on this morning for giving constructive criticism. And that's what I called that. I called it constructive criticism because if you don't realize that your bullshit isn't as important as our futures in this country, and you can't put that aside, right there, you've already lost your credibility with people like me because I'm a realist. I've been in business for 9 years. Okay. I didn't come from an easy upbringing. I don't have a trust fund. Everything I've earned it on my own merit. And the relationships that I've built them over time on my own merit. And that's how you win in the end, because when you build something that's that strong and you have people that genuinely, like Vlad, people love him. I'm not stupid. Okay, I'm telling you this. I love the guy. I love Chris Sky. You either love Chris Sky or you hate him. A lot of people, because he's too real, he'll make you cry. But you need to hear that right now because look what's happening in the country. Like, we had our grandfathers die and grandmothers die in wars so we can have our freedoms and rights. And now you're going to whine because somebody's telling you to do something about it. Anyhow, that's life. That's called life. You need to hear that. It's called constructive criticism. Bitch and complain all you want, but if you don't do anything about it, you're not going to change anything. This firewall that's up about who can contribute and who can participate and all this other stuff in a worldwide rally is uncalled for. It's just not acceptable in this movement. No. Again, if it was just somebody who wanted to speak on the microphone and it was going to be monotone bullshit that I don't want to hear and it's just going to put me to sleep, I'd say, okay, well, obviously, let's put somebody on who has a good message. The dude has one of the best messages in Canada. Danielle, Alicia, whoever else doesn't like Vlad, I don't really care because his message is strong and people here need to hear it. So the people that do love Vlad want to hear it. And the few people you're trying to turn against Vlad aren't buying your bullshit.
Thank you, brother. And honestly, like I was surprised. I honestly, like I always want to believe in good in people. I do. I actually was even shocked myself, unfortunately, how they bashed you in your post. Like there was zero admission to anything wrong on their side. Zero. It's impossible. It's exactly like the government tells us the jobs are safe and effective. Government has completely lost any balance between positive and negative in anything. Like, admit to at least something doing wrong. Apologize for one thing, small one, and you're entitled to your opinion. And the thing could have been said. You know what, James? You have a valid point potentially. I don't necessarily agree, but you're entitled to your opinion. It was nothing like that. It's
And
again
they
just another
they
example of
need to
how
step
unprofessional
away.
we are.
I said that to them today. If you're not going to handle this particular group the right way, then step down, because we need to be stronger together. So you bring your people, I bring my people, they bring their people, Yvonne brings her people. You know, like there's all these different groups that want to be a part of the worldwide rally, and not necessarily everybody needs to be up there speaking and taking. You know, I understand. I have my own rallies now, and I'm not just going to let anybody come and take it over. So that's fine. But when you have a Chris Sky in town and you don't invite him, you have a Vladislav Zobolov in town and you don't invite him to speak at this monumental movement for our country, you've dropped the ball. You've let everybody down that appreciates his efforts. So if you can actually get that through your head that you're letting us down because of your own issues, just leave your issues out of this movement, because they're not as important as our freedoms, our rights, our children. I mean, they're coming after your 5-year-old kids now to vaccine these kids, jab these kids. Are you sick in the head? You know, like, obviously we need to work together, man.
No, Vlad,
it's that. Yes, Emma.
Can I speak to what happened September 18th quickly?
Sure. Yeah.
So on September 18th, we had a worldwide rally. And what I'm understanding is, I don't think these girls understand that the worldwide rally is not theirs. It's actually ours. It's for all groups to be represented. But they've taken it over, you know, and, you know, Bettina's biased. She's the Canadian representative for Worldwide Rally. She's biased. She's good friends with David Lindsay. So anybody that wants to be involved with Worldwide Rally that's involved with Hugs Over Masks, it's an automatic no. So, which is also very high schoolish. When you have a position like that, I think self-appointed, you know, you have to be a little more responsible with that position, I believe. So September 18th, it was actually a beautiful rally. I actually even cried when the nurses were speaking. I was very moved, and I appreciate, you know, the rally and some of the speakers. And Vlad went up to speak, and I saw him approach Danielle, and I thought she even reached to hug him. I thought there was a hug there. And I was standing in front.
She hugged me, yes. I opened my locker and we hugged, yes.
Okay. So then what I thought in that moment, being right in front, I think, James, you were probably just behind me there, and with Marcella. And when I saw that, I was so moved, because I said, oh my gosh, maybe this is a breaking open here. And then what transpired after that made me so sad, because what I witnessed was, and there was a lovely gentleman speaking. What's the man's name again, Vlad?
Geez, I know his name too.
What's his name? Wonderful speaker. And then anyway, so and I saw Alicia, you know, motion to Marco, who was across the stage, who came over. And before we knew it, there were, I believe, 6 to 8, you know, boys, you know, pushing on Vlad, right? And a pit bull.
That would have been a big mistake. I'll tell you what. I was first row, and I'll tell you what. I stood back. I said my comment by mistake on my live because I was so shocked, first of all, by it, because I didn't even realize how.
It was shocking.
But listen for a second. Go ahead. You could jump on Vlad in front of me. Guess what's going to happen? I'm going to jump on you. And I'm just making that message very clear right now.
So, Yeah, thanks, James. And so what happened was this whole scene was created, and I was just in complete shock. Could not believe where this went. And I thought to myself, 2 minutes that they could have given to Vlad, he would have spoken for 2 minutes, he would have had the crowd up like he always does, and he would have gotten off the stage. But instead, it turned into this whole scene, pit bulls involved, all these guys involved, and it was not necessary at all.
I
But
took the
this
stage
is,
beside Vlad after that happened. I waited until, because if I had come up there at that point in time, my evaluation was things could get really hot really fast. So I let it kind of
yeah,
settle down until he was standing on the side of the stage. I walked up there, I stood beside Vlad. You know, I could see he was shaken up by this, and it hurt me to see a man I respect that much put into that
yeah,
predicament for something so ridiculous in a movement that needs people like Vlad more than ever. Right now, Canada needs Vlad. And you know what? If anything had happened there, if people wanted to play the role, go for it, man. That'd be a big
yeah.
mistake.
Yeah,
So
well,
then, James, so then unfortunately that happened. And so it was a poor decision in that moment, for whatever reason, it was a poor decision. So imagine if Alicia and Danielle had reached out to Vlad and apologized to him for making that decision. Imagine how that would have impacted, Vlad and others, that witnessed that, right? But it didn't happen.
Of course not.
So what did I do? I got on and I posted, and I said, we're going to take back the stage, the worldwide rally stage for the people, right? Not for one person, for the people, where it should have been already for months. And I was adamant about it, because this was not okay. In the interim, I'll just 2 minutes. In the interim, I messaged Alicia and Danielle in a group text, and I said, I'd love to chat. I'd like you guys to hear me out, and I'd like to hear you out. To this day, I never received a response. Then Rick Thomas came up with the idea to have a meeting for, to unite leaders. And we had 25 leaders show up, beautiful, emerging leaders, with great ideas also. And it was actually 30, but 5 couldn't show up. And it was a wonderful meeting. Now, what we heard of after is that Odessa had actually sent a message to somebody to warn them to not go to the meeting. So that's one person, and perhaps there were more. So this type of behavior, there's no room for this type of behavior in this movement. It's ridiculous. So literally high school, what do we, are we grown adults here? Is this high school stuff?
I just want to say,
we could not get anywhere with them.
We can't afford it. We can't afford a firewall in front of us preventing us to unite.
No.
The high school. Okay, that's a great terminology, but at the end of the day, it's called your personal demeanor, who you really are. If you can't cut through the tape and see the benefits of working together in this movement, then have your own little group, go sell your cookies, sing Kumbaya, and get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. So then anyway, we just couldn't get anywhere with them, and then fast forward to yesterday. So again, I was shocked when I saw the video because I actually had to leave. It's probably a good thing I wasn't there. And I couldn't believe the extent to which these gals went to make sure that nobody was around to hear Vlad and to hear Elise, this beautiful young warrior, and to hear Rick and to hear any person that ended up speaking on the small stage for the small mob, right? So I could not believe the antics they played. For the first time ever, they couldn't do the march at 2:00 with some excuses. I'm so sick of the excuses. Like, let's move past the excuses already, gals.
Well, look
And,
at the march we had last
you
time. It was
know,
ridiculous. We went in a circle 3 times around 2
yeah,
blocks. Like what the hell? I mean,
yeah, it was great. It was, it was
there,
great. So there were all kinds of
I'm not saying
excuses
girls.
again,
Yeah.
all kinds of excuses again, James and Vlad. And so, you know, that's not necessary. How about just don't? We didn't want Vlad to speak. We didn't want anybody that was with Vlad to speak. And so we did whatever we had to do to make sure that wouldn't happen. Unfortunately, when some of the people went on the march, many of them stayed back, and we had a crowd to listen to Vlad and the speakers. And because people know,
But
and
that shouldn't even
I've
be
had a lot of
necessary.
messages, people supporting. Exactly.
That shouldn't even be necessary. Like I said,
Why are we wasting our time on this?
he's not a hang around. Vlad
Right?
is beyond,
Right.
you know what? I would rather listen to Vlad over Alicia and Danielle all day long. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being honest. People don't need to hear a
Yeah.
message about, you know, just whining. Listen, we're
Or
not
there's
there
no
for
time.
nails and
There's
look
no
pretty.
time.
You see this hat?
There's no time for Vlad.
This hat means
Yeah.
it's war, man. We're in a fucking war
Yeah.
right now. And
Yeah.
we are in a battle with each other because of egos,
Yeah. So
politics.
the thing is I want to address, and maybe, you know, I know we can go for a while, but let's just maybe wrap it up soon. But the point is, unfortunately, they did everything they could to make sure that I would not have an opportunity to speak, because we set up our speakers first. We had one speaker; it was a good one, luckily, and I was playing music while their sound system was setting up. You know, I think we got ours going at like 11:30, the latest. And guess what? As soon as the other side start playing live music, I turn off ours out of respect. You know, I'm not gonna be like trying to disrupt or anything like that. And people were asking me during the rallies, like, Vlad, when you gonna speak? When you gonna speak? I'm like, I'll speak when I have an opportunity. I don't want to be rude to the speakers that are on stage. And again, the first thing ever, the march didn't happen in half of a day, because that would be my opportunity to grab a mic. And in the meantime, people kind of gathering together, whatever, I could share a message. You know, I wouldn't even have to take that long time. But they purposely, 100%, many people came to me. I didn't even do it in the
100%.
right? Why there's no march?
100%.
Why there's no march? And that's why. That's why, because we wanted to make sure that there was no opportunity for me. And Danielle is saying in the comments again, if we would have gave Vlad a microphone because he's been slamming us for months before, God knows what he would have said. Well, guess what? I guess we'll never find out. Because I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna grab a mic that you gave me. I'm not gonna take a mic if you give it to me and then try to bash you in front of the people, because it's not gonna look good on me, right? I would use an opportunity to speak and talk about real issues that we need to all address. But yesterday, having armed biker guys at the Freedom Rally, have a guy waving
Oh my gosh.
on top, and then having a yellow tape and pushing people back that wanted to get close to the speakers, that never happened anywhere in this country at the Freedom Rally. What a joke and pathetic set of excuses the organizers are right now.
Can I just interject? They recruited bodyguards to be on this stage to make sure Vlad and others wouldn't speak, right? So, and again, what Danielle just commented, it's just another excuse, right? It's just all excuses and deflection. All they need to do is just send out a big, huge apology to any speaker that wanted to speak and all their antics. They created it all. It was purposefully to stop Vlad and other people. And all the crap that they say now is just bullshit, and it's crap. So we know that. We see it. So call it a day, gals, and just apologize. You were wrong. You made a poor decision on September 18. You made a poor decision last night. A lot of people saw it. I've gotten many messages of support. It's appalling what happened. You played the games. It backfired on you. So settle down,
Just like
apologize,
and
and let's move on.
The CBC rally, I was actually down. I was down with, you know, that bio shit. I asked Vlad to pick up the torch where I had to leave off. Vlad was there in a heartbeat. Okay. He's there for me. Okay. Because I couldn't be there. So Marcella, Tara, and Vlad ran that rally without me, and I appreciated that. But you know what? I had Tanya, Odessa, Danielle, Alicia all commit to that rally for me. And I'm going to say this because people have to understand something, that I invited Ryan from Celebration of Freedoms and Rights to speak at a rally in Abbotsford. We're talking about a rally in Vancouver and a rally in Abbotsford. Two different dynamics. Okay. Alicia, none of them were going to be at the Abbotsford rally. They all said they couldn't make it to that one, but they would participate. And I spent hours on the phone with Tanya, Danielle. I put the time in, got everybody on board, knowing full well that Vlad was going to be a part of it, Raul was going to be a part of it. And then I got the ultimatum that I could not have because of Ryan. I got the ultimatum, which I personally think at this point in time, go ahead, say I'm wrong, that you probably would have bailed on me at the last minute anyways. You'd find some reason at that point in time to bail because, you know, you just, you have so much anger for one person, you can't do something good. And you know what? Our fight is against the media. The media is the virus, right? It has been from day one. So I think we need to take this fight to a place. And I really wanted to work with the ladies because I thought they could portray the message I'm trying to get across professionally. But I wasn't going to exclude Vlad and Raul and everybody else. I mean, you know, that's, first of all, it was my idea to do this. I wanted them to be a part of it. So then, because I invite one person to a rally that's got nothing to do with the one they're going to be at, the dictatorship comes out, and I got to cut my other people I care about wanting to be there in order to keep them. So they bailed anyways, right? So later for them. But at the end of the day, this is what we're dealing with here. I mean, people are trying to make a difference, and the bottom line is you don't cut out Chris Sky, you don't cut out Vlad. I think them both, and same with, like, you know, did you ever think for 1 second maybe to talk to Lazek? Lazek's a hell of a spokesman too, right? Like, you know, talk to one of us. But anyways, at the end of the day, you know, we're all chopped liver, right? And it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I don't need the spotlight. I never got into this for the spotlight. The first time I ever spoke, Laura Lynn asked me to and put me on the spot. Boy, was I nervous, but I did it. And, you know, I grew from that experience. At the end of the day, though, it's just like, you don't own the movement. You are the editor of a movement, and you need to make the right decisions to make the movement grow. And if you're only going to keep it in your little personal bubble, then you're the wrong person to be doing it. You need somebody who has an open mind, can realize that you're not going to make friends with everybody. Okay, it's just, that's the way the world works. But you have to,
you don't have to. You can just act professional. How many of us worked in the companies or whatever businesses and we had co-workers that we didn't like? Maybe we even hated them for whatever stupid reason that you personally think you have a right to do. But guess what? You show up to work because you're professional, and you learn to coexist together because you're professional. But unfortunately, when you openly call me devil, and there's no way on earth you're gonna allow me to speak in Vancouver, who made you the queen and kings and whatever else of Vancouver? Like, what a joke.
And you know what else came up in that post that I made too, is that you handed the microphone to a guy who said something like, you were like the puppet master there going up his
I don't know what people are going to say. If people want to get a mic, it's not my place to take away.
You were standing there frustrated for, I saw the video. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Going, fuck, when is this guy going to speak? You know, and then this other guy is just like, yeah, he put them down. But you know what? That's because of the love he has for you, man. And these people like myself and him and thousands of other people across Canada want you to be up there speaking for us, man. So they have to.
I appreciate it. Anyway,
this is not for them to
James, also frustration in that moment. I think just frustration with everything, you know, having to deal with this. Like, it's just, as you say, we're really pressing and dire times right now, and we're dealing with this type of crap. Like, it is, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. I just don't get it.
My auntie's house just floated down the fucking Merritt River, man. She's homeless. Her cats died in that thing. Like, you know, we just had massive floods here, lost tons of cattle, poultry, all kinds of things, you know, and Your big concern is who you like and who you don't like right now in the movement. Like, really, man, do what's right for the movement, or move over and let someone else take
Yeah.
the torch and
Yeah.
do it the right way.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know that I can't keep interrupting, but if you don't see that and you can't figure that out yourself, I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say
No.
to you. We're never gonna get big enough to make a
No.
difference.
So I just want to tie it up because I told the initial story about David Lindsay and Bettina, who self-appointed herself for sure, Danielle, is whatever you want to say. The reality is nobody had a discussion with all the
Excuses. I love
leadership,
her excuses.
right? Like I don't remember having any discussion with any leaders across this country who will be official representative for Canada in the worldwide rally. Bettina was on a Zoom call. She's German, whatever. She appointed herself, and then she kicked me out of a Freedom Rally group. I didn't even know this Telegram chat in the spring. I think it was April or May of this year, and I didn't even know that happened. But because she works with David Lindsay or whatever their relationship is, I don't really care. That was a very smart move on David Lindsay's part to try to hijack. And then only Danielle and Alicia I allowed to run Vancouver Freedom Rally. No, I'm sorry, it's not the case. Like and then the reason why we left Freedom Rally World, myself, Raul, Maria, and Marcella, the point is we asked, can we please take turns who's going to be hosting? And we literally asked, I think next people should be hosting May 15 rally, should be Marcella and Raul. And Danielle and Alicia literally said no. There was no discussion. It was like, no, it's not going to happen. We are the only one that's going to be hosting it. And even Odessa said that I'm surprised by that behavior. At that moment, Odessa had integrity to show to Danielle and Alicia that that's not okay. People just asking, can we take turns hosting the rallies? And that was for the May 15th, and that didn't happen. And the thing that I want to also mention is that we actually continued promoting everything that everybody was doing, where they don't promote anything that we're doing. They never mentioned one time the City Hall rallies that we do. And any type of literature or flyers are not even allowed on Action for Canada table, where we have a beautiful Scottish lady coming in every single time at the City Hall rallies, and she talks about Action for Canada, notice of liability, and guess what? Everybody's welcome, because it's not about me. This is way bigger than all of us combined. If only people would act from that place. So, and that's the truth. That's the ultimate truth. Whatever you want to say, you can see clearly. I've been very consistent with my message. The flyers always included all the organizations that I can think of. And then everybody's welcome whenever I have an opportunity to organize something. And by the way, it's not your rally. Freedom Rally is not your rally, Danielle. Okay, it's everybody's rally. And you literally have exactly the same speaker every single time. Where are all the new people that have a same right to speak as the ones you have? All right. And it's so sad and pathetic. And this attempt to stay relevant is just unreal. And Tyler Nicholson, with all due respect, it's a joke, right? The guy flew into Vancouver with all his family to be at a Hollywood production, and then he enjoyed his time, which is fantastic. But then he's going to question me how I fly around or anything else. I fly to Vancouver. Yvonne had to go. I fly to Vancouver the first time. In 9 days, I did 5 events, including literally the day before I flew in. I did a flyer distribution in front of a Metrotown station August of last year. Like I work like nonstop. And these people, and then by the way, if you want my financial disclosure, so to speak, I don't own a house, I don't own a car, I don't own an airplane, I don't own a boat. I own a bicycle, I rent 1-bedroom apartment, and my credit card is $15,000 in debt.
Wow.
That's it. This is my full financial disclosure. Okay, so whatever money people think that I'm rolling by selling the merchandise, yeah, please. Okay, there's so many other things I could do with my life to make a lot of money and not having having all this drama to deal with. It's a joke. It's absolutely a joke. People coming in Range Rovers, but they want to question my bicycle coming to the rally. Like I don't even take a taxi from the airport. I take transit when I fly around. Like it's unreal.
I thought I had money problems. Shit.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I know we've been going for a while. I appreciate people tuning in. Yvonne, you want to have some last words, and then James, and then we'll close this off.
So basically, everything that I shared here today is truth. It all happened. And it's sad. It's really sad because it's like we are in a very tough time here in BC, in Canada. We need all of our energy, combined, united to really try and break down what's happening and push back harder. And I think united we can do that, better. And it saddens me more than anything that this is happening. And I just hope that we can all move forward. And as you say, James, if you can't move forward, then step out of our way, because you're not representing the movement well in front of British Columbians, and it's just not right. Like, it's just time to end that crap. It's all bullshit, that part of it. Just move on from that. And if you want to join us, great. With open arms, we welcome you. And if not, just, move along. No more of this crap. It's ridiculous.
Well, I honestly think that the way they operate right now, even if we or somebody else was to take the reins and take this movement, the worldwide rally for the groups to work together because they either need to take a break or they need to back out, they still wouldn't want to operate with us because their integrity is just above us, because I am friends with Vlad and I'm friends with Chris Sky and I'm friends with Yvonne and Raul, and I'm not going to say
how dare you to do this.
Obviously I have integrity issues, right?
How dare you hang with the small mob? Tanya Gaw, thank you so much for that nickname. We love it.
Love it.
Tanya Gaw, I think that's a small mob, and she was so bang on with that. My goodness, thank you for that name. We love it.
Yeah, David over Goliath.
Small mob gets it done. James, small mob gets it done.
What we need to do is we need to bring people together. Like what you're saying is we need to, all the groups that are working and they're bringing people out, like, inspiring people to step up and hold signs and speak in megaphones and whatever they can do. Walk through malls with Vlad, myself. I do it all the time. I don't go into a store or anywhere else for that matter with a mask on, period. And I don't get challenged. I just say I'm exempt and I walk, and that's that. And if I do get challenged, I just won't shop there. It's that simple. So it's setting an example when you're in these places. So that's what's important, is you teach people how to set the example for remaining human and that kind of thing. But really what's more important than anything else right now is unity. So all these little groups that are doing things here, there, everywhere, we have that one opportunity to come together as the world, and nobody owns that. Nobody takes that from anybody else. So if I had Chris Sky in town, and I was lucky enough to host Rubbing Shoulders with Vlad and Chris Sky and Lazek, how lucky, what a great day for me. And people just want to stick their nose up in the air and say, well, I don't like those people. Well, you know what? They're doing so much for all of us. Their message is helping. Whether you like somebody or you don't like somebody is irrelevant. It's immaterial. It means squat. What means something is unity right now, because if we can't get out in the hundreds of thousands of people, they're going to be coming and forcing you to jab or putting you in a fucking concentration camp if we don't get our shit together. So get your shit together.
100%.
Can I say this, guys?
Sure.
Can I say this? I'm so proud to be on this call with you guys. So proud to be taking this walk with you, James, and you, Vlad, two incredibly high character, high integrity guys. I'm just so honored. I'm so honored. And James, I have known you a long time, but right off the bat, I go, this is a great guy right here. I knew it, because my intuition's always right. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Vlad, for everything you do, everything you have sacrificed for everybody in Canada, We love you very much. We stand strong right beside you, and nothing will ever change that. I think James is yeah.
Thank
Do you
you.
know sensei, what sensei means? I
Yeah.
take karate. I used to take karate for a lot of years. And I'll tell you what, sensei means teacher. Okay. In
Thank you.
Japanese.
Love
That's
it.
what it means.
Appreciate that. Means a lot.
Sensei.
Love
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just
The
I just
leader
want
of leaders. That's who Vlad is. Leader of leaders.
I appreciate it, and I take it with huge responsibility. Honestly, I mean, it's all guts, no glory, and if the glory comes, that's good. But I don't do that for that, and enough people know that, and that's it. I just want to say a very important thing again, and then I'll close it off. And then I really appreciate you guys being here. Bettina has to step down immediately from being representative for Canada. Any
Yes.
rally that people organize by themselves, she has no right to name it
Yeah.
fake. And she's done it numerous times with Nanaimo rally. They had 500 people or more happening there every single Freedom Rally. She attempted to do the same with Niagara Freedom Rally World. She called it fake, and they're not allowed to do it. And guess what? Niagara had the only mayor in the whole country. It was in Niagara Rally, and they tried to sabotage that. How unreal and pathetic attempt it is at controlling the freedom movement. Freedom will not be trademarked. Not on my watch, not on James' watch, not Yvonne, and many other people. We're standing for freedom above all and freedom for all. And we're doing this shoulder to shoulder. And when I'm defending opportunity for people to speak, I do it for all, not just for myself. And I say this often. It's not even about me. I wanted Elise to speak. She has such a powerful new person that we have in our movement,
Yes.
20-some-year-old girl, and taking action and being inspired. And Tyler, we have another young woman also in Vancouver that's been so hardworking, and then they just getting brushed aside, not even whatever. And it's like literally. So the important thing to know that Bettina has to step down is like enough of this nonsense. There's enough people that can take the reign. There definitely should be rotations. It never should be the same people emceeing the rallies. It's just completely unacceptable. People have an opportunity to contribute, and they should have that opportunity to do. And more than anything, the only message that was not really discussed yesterday was peaceful, united, and compliance to the full extent. And that's really what's going to make it all work. And obviously, the lawsuit also was not discussed. The only lawsuit that's discussed is only one on that stage. And that's why we cannot stand for that. We cannot. It's just enough of this nonsense. People have to take the reins back, and we are taking the reins back. And it just shows that people standing in truth and unity and freedom. And that was a beautiful thing to see in Abbotsford. James, when you organized Abbotsford, everybody showed up. Myself showed up, Mario showed up, Ryan showed up, Marcella showed up, and many other people. And guess what? We didn't necessarily like each other, but we showed up and we act professional. And for me, there was a great example of people able to come together at Abbotsford Rally. And then we had a meeting, the leadership meeting with 25 plus people, and everybody showed up except the select few that talking about unity, but can't even come to the meeting in a group of people, not even with myself and Yvonne. There was like almost 30 people in that. And they decided that's, beyond them. Like, what a joke this is. So action speaks louder than words. It's very important for us to stand our ground, and we are doing it. And we're not going to stand for censorship, segregation, slandering from our government and the media. And we're not going to stand for that in our freedom movement.
Definitely not. No. If I can, did anybody see the video of me talking to Justin Trudeau?
We the people.
If I have enough guts to do what I did to Justin Trudeau with all those police right in my face, don't think for 1 second you're on a different pedestal. Don't underestimate people.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Thank you.
We the people ask for Bettina to step down as a Canadian representative of Worldwide Rally, because you have misrepresented BC for sure, and probably a lot of Canadian, the provinces. So we demand that you step down from the Worldwide Rally. You are not you do not represent the people. You have to go.
So, and we demand transparency about all the money has been raised for Rocco Galati cases all across this country, in Quebec, in Ontario, in British Columbia, and all the other lawsuits. And like I said yesterday, no more money should be raised. We have enough lawsuits in the system. We know they're not going to accomplish much. And if nothing has been heard right now, since July of last year, why on earth people even considering filing more lawsuits? Keep your money. It's invested, buy food, stock up on your food, whatever you have to do, be prepared. The things are coming, and it's going to be a harsh winter unless we get ready. And more than anything, we need to keep taking action in peaceful, united non-compliance, keep challenging the system. Civil disobedience, peaceful is the only way. And united we stand, divided we fall. God bless us all.
Love
Thank
you guys. Mwah.
Love you
Thank
all.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Hey, Yvonne, love
Night,
you.
everybody.
Vlad,
Thanks for
thanks for
watching.
having me.
Bye.
James,
guys are
thank you
awesome.
so much. Thank you, Vlad.
Thank
Bye.
you.